Is this video?
Always gotta remember to turn my space heater and my air purifier off,
so that we can get the best sound ever. Crammed like a clam up in here. Hey friends, welcome back to Kombucha Time. Just another one of those videos. Really should have put a coaster there. Now it's gonna stain my freaking coffee table. So not too long ago, I read a book that was just about dry humping my last nerve. It's called The Idea of You. I have the book right here. Wanna see? Wanna see? Wanna see? I have proof that I read it. Look. And funny, I don't know if it's funny. Written by an actress in Hollywood. She's probably got some dirt on some celebs in here that she channeled into her works as an author. You just know. Specifically, the main character's love interest who is in a boy band. She's not a celebby. She's not a celebby herself, but she talks to very important people for her job, just like a famous person does. So this art gallerist and this lead singer of a fictional boy band called August Moon are in a May-December relationship, which you can probably have a guess as to why it is called The Idea of You, because we only do know the ideas of famous people. So you know how there are some books that you just couldn't put down? Well, I could wait to put down this book. Every time I would pull the book out from my nightstand, my soul was crying. It was very poorly paced. There better not be a spider on me. It was not my kind of bedtime story. I think it's pretty apparent at this point, this is a romance, which I have my thoughts on romance, but sometimes I just like to read them just to see what I'm missing out on, or probably in more cases not missing out on. And also, why? Where? Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, One Direction. Pretty sure 5 Seconds of Summer. They're 5, because they're called 5 Seconds. Is 5 just like the magic number for boy bands? Like, is there some kind of like specific luck that comes to boy bands that are members of 5? Like 5 is not a quartet. I need to sip some kombucha on this. So when I first went into this, I was kind of concerned. I'm like, okay. What are the specifics of the age gap here? Is the boy of age? Of course, there is a lot of sex in this book, and I've come to the conclusion that reading about sex is a lot better than watching sex in film and television. Let's just talk about the main character for a second. I got really bad vibes from her when at one point in the book, she shoos away a server. I mean, that's just like the rudest thing you can do. Not just to somebody who's serving you food, but to anyone. My Libra moon did not like that. I just decided from that point on that Solin, that's her name, I just decided that she sucks as a person. There's recently been a movie adaptation of The Idea of You released with my personal fave, Anne Hathaway. Anne Hathaway just always seems to find her way back to my content somehow. It's not on purpose. I mean, like, I love Anne Hathaway. I think it's because she's like one of those actresses. Ever since The Princess Diaries, she's always casted in films that were books first. But regardless, I watched The Idea of You movie. And of course, because it was a movie, it was only an hour, so they had to speed things up to fit it into an hour. So I definitely preferred the pace of a movie in comparison to how slow and overly detailed this book was. So it was a relief for me to know it would be done within an hour. Funny. Just like Eileen, the book versus movie adaptation that I did with another film that she was in based on a book last Christmas called Eileen. I think that's a video where I truly found my YouTube voice, if you must. So we're gonna talk about The Idea of You, a movie. But let me just say, well, I don't know how quickly I'm gonna say it because I have a Mercury in retrograde, I tend to get off track, and I do lots of side tangents. I have to have some psychic ability where I'm reading a book and when later it's been turned into a film, the settings, like the characters' houses or towns that they live in or whatever, like it's so accurate to how it looked in my mind at the time when I was reading about it in the book. Anyway, I just thought that was hilarious that I had a picturesque premonition of the book's settings. So Isabel, that's her daughter. In the book, she's 12 years old. She's a really big fan of the fictional band August Moon. In the book, they met at a meet and greet that singers and bands have before their show. In the book, they meet at Coachella. And Isabel, she's a little older in the movie. She's like 17. So her life as a fan of August Moon has passed. Isabel's like,
oh, they're okay, but like they're so 7th grade.
She's older and she just wants to go to Coachella. I'm sure that the writers made that decision to take away the blow that movie Isabel would receive upon finding out that her mom is dating a guy in a famous boy band. Now, is it just me? Or are a lot of films these days, they seem to be casting parent and child duos that really do look alike, that could pass as like parent and child in real life. I feel like with older movies, I don't really see that often. I feel like I'm seeing it a lot in more recent movies. The actress who played Isabel, and you look at Anne Hathaway, they really do look alike. You can't tell me they don't. Look at them. So Daniel is her ex-husband, Daniel, he's quite a stark contrast. In the book, it seems that Daniel and Solen's marriage just like didn't work out and they parted ways. And then later on, he married a young hot thing and they get engaged. But in the movie, he cheated on Solen with a young assistant at his job. And in the movie, she's pregnant. But back to Solen and Daniel, they're very cordial with each other. They remain civil for the sake of their daughter. But in the movie, he's gotta calm down. It seems that like there's a part of him that is not over Solen yet. You're the one that couldn't keep your dick to yourself. And by the way, I actually like Solen in the movie, unlike in the book. Solen in the movie seems like a nice person. I just want to put that out there. So I'm going to be very much nicer to movie Solen, not just because she's played by Anne Hathaway. She doesn't seem to disrespect people. But of course, they're comparing Solen and Hayes' relationship to Harry Styles and Olivia Wilde's relationship during COVID. I mean, I haven't seen Don't Worry, Darling, but I have very great knowledge of the memes that have come from the drama surrounding the film. The soundtrack, the songs in the movie, they actually were bangers. At one point, I literally was like dancing around my apartment. There were some really good songs in that movie. I think the film does a lot better at illustrating Solen's love of art. There's a scene where Hayes comes to the art gallery and he wants to buy everything. I mean, everything. He's like, I'll take it all. No, I'm not making fun of him. He's actually British. That's also why people like to mention Harry Styles when they mention this book and now this movie. Solen, she's like not having it. She's just like,
this is like artwork that artists have put their heart and soul into. You can't just like have like a disposable attitude about it. You can't treat art like that. Art is my friend. Art is the language of somebody's soul.
I'm sure that the movie did this for reasons that they needed to condense the story. Time purposes, of course. In the book, Hayes has kind of like a tough relationship with his fellow bandmate and his best friend, Oliver. That's not in the movie. In the book, he started August Moon with this best friend and bandmate of his, Oliver. They changed that to him auditioning. Probably, again, why people like to compare him to Harry Styles. He auditioned for like the band, August Moon. Harry Styles auditioned for the X Factor, so it's like, they tried to make Hayes' background story very similar. But hey, whatever you gotta do to condense a long-ass storyline into a properly paced movie, I support your decision. I like your decision. For the movie, they changed Hayes' not only his musical background, but his personal background as well. In the book, his parents are still together. They don't seem happy, but they're together. But in the movie, they're divorced and his mom remarried. He doesn't get along with his dad. But in the book, he seems to get on fine with his parents. And I know that I was complaining about Solen earlier, but I don't really like Hayes either. He's so selfish. Their relationship is like, it's all about what he wants. It's like he's like not aware of the fact that Solen is a career woman and a mother. It's like she has priorities, man. Just because you're famous, not every woman that you come across is gonna be at your beck and call. I mean, if you want somebody like that, get you a golden retriever girlfriend. And also, he's just stalkerish, and it's not romantic at all. Both in the film and in the book, he tracks down her information without her consent. Being creepy and stalkerish is not romantic, y'all. It's what it is, creepy and stalkerish. There was a scene in the movie where Ava, her ex-husband's pregnant wife, tells Solin that she's planning on leaving Daniel, but he doesn't know. And after Ava tells her, she asks Solin if she wants to get Thai food. The nerve of you to ask the woman whose husband you stole to get Thai food just because you're leaving him. But Solin just gave her that tired ass, over your shit kindergarten teacher. No. And she just walks away. Yeah, that's what happens when you steal somebody else's man. You don't get to eat Thai food with their former wife. So in the book, Solin and Hayes, they're together throughout the whole storyline. But in the movie, they break up once and then they get back together. As far as Daniel and Hayes, they never interact in the book at all. They never come across each other. But actually in the movie, they actually do have a confrontation when Daniel shows up at Solin's house and Hayes is there. There's like a slight heated confrontation. I feel like if this was a standalone movie, I wouldn't have watched it at my own accord. But the fact that it was made from a book that I didn't particularly like, it was more bearable in my eyes. Let me just say, there's a kissing scene that Solin and Hayes have, and I got to say, it was the most beautiful kissing scene I have ever seen in a film. Like the camera angles are changing, like the overhead lights are changing from like red to purple to gold. It was like 50 Shades of Hayes and actually romantic. So Solin and Hayes do break up in the book. They break up at the end and like that's the end of that. In the movie, there's a 5-year time jump after their last breakup. And he's gone solo. Solin sees him performing on the Graham Norton show. And Graham Norton asks,
"Oh, what you going to do now that you've been touring so much? Like, what you going to do now?"
And then Hayes is like, "What?"
"I think I'm going to go to Los Angeles
Los Angeles is where Solin lives.
because I want to see somebody there."
So it jumps to where it seems like the next day at the art gallery. Solin comes in to work. She expects to see Hayes there, but he's not. Later on the day when she's in her office and she hears two people talking outside, it ends with Hayes turning around to see her in the doorway, and Solin, she's got tears in her eyes. Before they broke up the last time, he was like,
"Maybe in 5 years we'll see where this goes."
so that's why 5 years is significant here. They did agree that if they did find love in 5 years, like it was okay. But you know, in that 5-year time period, Solin never got with anybody else and neither did Hayes. Of course, it had to have a happy ending because it's a romance movie. So it was predictable. Basic Hollywood romance, nothing special. But the movie does win for me just because Solin seems to be a better person. It was more quickly paced because they had to fit it into an hour-long movie. That's my final verdict.
Take it or leave it.
If you liked this video, make sure that you leave me a comment down below letting me know what you liked and what you would want to see in the future. And also, do not leave without doing this one thing.
Subscribe, y'all!
You know what's gonna happen when I get 500 subscribers? I'm going to take all the books from my walk-in closet that I have read already, and I'm going to pack them up and I'm gonna take them to a nonprofit here in my hometown of Nashville, Tennessee. I don't know which nonprofit yet. I gotta get 500 subscribers before I know which organization is going to get free books. In order for that to happen, you have to do your part and pay it forward and subscribe to the Book Diva. And it's so easy to subscribe, y'all. It's so easy. You don't have to pay anything. All you have to do is just click the subscribe button, like, bing, and it'll notify you each and every time I upload. Thanks for watching. Bye.